right, Shalom, Shalom. First of all, it's like all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of a great millstone, and to all the saints rocking out their personal truth and sincerity. This is the brother Bunyan.
Shemaya Allah.
Hey, we coming back with another lesson. You know, we just sitting here, brainstorming. Going over scriptures and so forth and so on. And one of the scriptures that stood out was this Psalms 24:1, which the brother's going to read.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 21, Salaki. Verse 1. 20, Salaki, yeah. This is Psalms chapter 24, verse 1. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof.
Right. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. You know, you got Esau walking around, going around the earth, lifted up with pride, as if everything that belongs to him, as if he's entitled to the world.
What scriptures say? The Lord gives you the increase. Like the Lord makes you rich or makes you poor. It's just like in Egypt, how he made Pharaoh. He put Pharaoh up high over Israel.
Right.
The world and they that dwell therein.
Right, and they that dwell therein. So everything ultimately belongs to Yahweh, by Yahweh Shai. And before you grab the other scripture real quick, this is Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. They say, "For all things were made by him." It's like, for all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, that are visible and invisible, even the thrones and the dominions and the principalities and the powers, and all things were created by him and for him. Which proves that the Lord created the world for Israel's, pretty much for Israel's sake. Also for his sake, but he that inheritance was passed down unto the nation of Israel. Back to
this is Psalms 24, verses 2. This is it reads, "For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods."
Right. When you go back to Genesis, the creation, Yahweh gave Yahweh gave the order to Yahweh Shai, and created the world. Go ahead.
I'm read Psalms 24, verse 2 again. It says, "For he hath founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods." And the precept of that is Genesis 1, verse 9. It says, "And the Most High said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so."
Right. So he gave orders to the earth, which, to this day, to this day, the earth still follows those orders.
"Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord?"
Who shall descend unto the hill? It's like, read that again.
Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord?
Right. Who shall ascend unto the hill of the Lord? Not these, not 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Even though at the end of it all Israel gonna be saved, but ultimately the elect are going to ascend unto the hill of the Lord. Go ahead.
"Or who shall stand in his holy place?
Okay.
He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity."
Hey, go back up to that last verse.
He that hath clean hands.
Nope.
3. This is 24. Psalms 24, verse 3. It says, "Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Who shall stand in his holy place?"
God. No, it said, "Who shall ascend unto the heavens?" Give me that Romans 11:7. Matter of fact, come on, right here. Because I mentioned you know, ultimately we know that the elect are going to be the ones who who's delivered out of this wicked kingdom. You know.
I got it.
Go ahead.
This is Romans 11, verse 7. Correct?
Yep.
And it reads, it says, "What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh
Right.
for."
Israel have not attained that which they seek for. And what are they seeking for? They're seeking for salvation, for deliverance, for peace. You know? And the only way that salvation and that peace is going to come is through Yahweh Shai. You know? But 2/3 of the nation of Israel has to and must be put to death in order for us to receive that kingdom. You know, because just like the next verse is going to say, we are all as filthy rags, but the elect sins are already forgiven. You know. Go ahead.
But the election have obtained it.
But the election have obtained it. That proves that there's a small remnant. You know. The 144,000 and the elect, you know, the 1/3. Yep, go back to that Psalms.
This is Psalms 24, verse 4. "He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who have not lifted up his soul unto vanity."
Hey, who are they that have clean hands and have what?
A pure heart.
A pure heart. You know? That's the men of the Lord, you know? The elect, or the hopeful elect. The ones who's going out there to the highways and byways and pushing this truth and sincerity. You know, the ones who's sighing and crying for the abominations that be done on the earth. You know? That's the ones with the clean hands. We're ultimately, as we teach this word, we go out. You know, we're studying. We're cleansing our hands from this wicked society. We don't want no parts. You know, we're spiritually washing our hands. You know, from this wickedness. You know,
"Who have not lifted up his soul unto vanity."
we are not lifting up our souls unto vanity. We're not being a part of this world. We don't want to be a part of your world, because all it breeds is wicked is death and destruction. You know. Give me Psalms 119, because I'm to explain how are we cleansing. You know, we're cleansing. We're spiritually being baptized. You know, by the washing of the word.
Putting off the old man.
God.
That old man, the scriptures are spoken of, that old vain man who wants, who's in love with the world and the things that's in it.
The vanity thereof.
All right.
Start at verse 9.
This is Psalms 119, verse 9, and it reads, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word."
Right. So how are we cleansing our way? And I'm talking to the elect. How are the elect cleansing their way? It's by taking heed thereof unto the what?
Thy word.
Unto thy word. You know? Go ahead.
"With my whole heart have I sought thee."
And what are the men of the Lord doing? You know, with their whole heart. You know, Lord willing, we're seeking Him. You know, when we can be out, doing folly, we're in the scriptures. You know, we be out, partying, doing our fleshly desires. We in the scriptures.
Another thing, and I just spoke with the brother about this earlier, and this is real. This is real, because at the end of the day, we have everything going on in the world. Like, we all have jobs, we all have, some brothers have businesses, but some brothers got a lot of things to do. And like this morning, getting with the brother to go over the scriptures before I do anything else. You know, if I gotta miss something, get in early. Putting this before anything, and continue to do what? Wash off that old man, cleanse, become a new a new
It's
man.
like,
It's like,
hey, what was that, Matthew 6? Hey, seek ye first the kingdom. You know, and all things to be added unto you, roughly paraphrasing.
Mhm.
Hey, seek ye early while he may be found, you know?
For example. Yeah.
But go ahead.
This is verse. Wait, this is verse 9. Salakia. I'm gonna reread it. It says, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way by taking heed thereto according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee." Hey, man.
Whole heart was salty.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not wavering. We're not hey, Lord willing, hey, we're doing it with all our strength, all our might. You know, we're not being weary or stagnant. Hey, and Lord willing, we endure to the end. You know.
Mhm. It says, "Oh, let me not wander from thy commandments."
Hey, I spoke ahead.
God.
Hey, let me not wander from thy commandments. You know.
Mhm.
Hey, we want to endure to the end and ultimately receive that crown. You know, and like I said, hey, hopefully we're part of the, we are able to make it to that mountain, that hill of the Lord, that them chariots. You know.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
It says, "Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee."
Hey, and also we're hiding the word in our heart, you know, in our minds, you know, so that we will not sin against it, you know.
"Blessed art thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes."
Hey, teach me thy statutes. And what the Lord is doing right now is hey, as we dig into the scriptures, hey, his spirit, you know, through the spirit of Yahweh Shai, hey, we're getting the precepts where we're beginning to understand. We're being cleansed of the filth, you know, the lies, the deceit. You know what I mean?
"With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth."
Right. With thy lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. And what are the judgments of thy mouth? It is this word, the prophecies. You know.
"I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all riches."
Right. And we're rejoicing in the way of thy testimony, and the testimony, the judgments. Hey, that is the word of Yahweh Shai. You know.
"I will meditate in thy precepts, and I have respect unto thy ways."
Meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. You know. Hey, so we're looking to be perfect. You know.
In these imperfect mortal bodies,
God.
you know, we still strive for it, and then like that goes into the whole grace period. That goes into the whole grace period because we know we're not perfect. We know we're not going to live up to the law wholeheartedly. It's practice.
I get Ephesians 2 and 8. Yeah, hey, like I said, we know that the spirit war against the flesh. You know, our flesh want to do certain things. You know, but hey, you gotta put off the fleshly desire. You know, and like the brother said, hey, and seek the Most High while he may yet be found. Roughly paraphrase. But hey, we gotta seek the Lord, and that's what we're doing. We're seeking His face early.
This is Ephesians 2 verse 8. It says, "For by grace are ye saved through faith."
Hey, through faith, through believing in these words, you know, by having faith in Yahweh Shai, and believing that this is the work. We're doing the work of Yahweh Shai,
"And not of yourselves."
Hey, not of ourselves. You know, we're not doing it because we want to. You know, we're doing it because this is the will of Yahweh Shai. We want to please Him who called us. You know.
"It is the gift of the Most High."
Hey, it is the gift of the Most High.
"Not of works, lest any man should boast."
Right. Hey, not of works that any man should boast. You know. And like I said, it's not our will. You know, because if it was up to us, hey, look, I'm a super duper Israelite. You know, I'm this, I'm that. No. Hey, the Most High gives the portion. You know, every man his portion. You know. And hey, Lord willing, hey, we're part of that number. You know. And we make our calling and election short. It's by getting into these scriptures, doing our part, what we're supposed to be doing. You know. Jump back to that Psalms 24.
Alrighty. This is Psalms 24, verse 5. It says, "He shall receive the blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the Most High of his salvation. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob, Salah."
Right, the generation of them who seek thy face, you know, and we're seeking the Lord's face. It's because we're seeing the prophecies unfold. We're seeing the judgments happen, you know. All right, so and like I said, and we're seeing the wickedness. So we're ultimately claiming the word of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai. Jump that. Colossians 1:26, real quick.
Okay, we got it.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 1, verse 26. Said, "Even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints."
Right, and this is the mystery that has been hid for ages, you know, and it is now being made manifest unto his saints. And who are the saints? The men of the Lord, you know, the ones who's pushing this truth and sincerity, you know. Hey, and it's being made manifest, like I, you know, just explained through the prophecies, you know, through the judgments. We're seeing everything, manifest itself. Everything come to light, you know, through the spirit of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, you know. Hey, so did you have anything else?
No.
Oh, so with that, you know, hey, hopefully this video was edifying, you know, and with that, all praise to
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakadash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and to all you sincere occupiers out there pressing the truth and sincerity. Hey, fear, tribulance, and diligence, you know. Hey, keep pushing. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.